Jagrata. Eventually, you reach a point in your growth where you realize that all you want and the only meaning there is peace. Not peace amongst nations, not peace within families. Peace within your being. If you can't come to peace, you can't bring anything to peace. Peace is a thing. It's a state. It's a reality. Until you know it, you really don't have much to do with it. Peace is not an ideal. It's not a concept. It's not an opinion. It's not an approach. No more than a person is an idea, an opinion, a preference, or an approach. A person is a thing, a reality. You don't tell it what to do. You come to know it as it is. It's true of all things. Wise beings reach the point where they understand everything has its nature. If you want to learn, if you want to grow, you don't want to impose your nature onto other things. You already know you. What good does it do to meet a monkey and make it be like a man? What good does it do to tell all people that they should think the way that you do? What it means to be conscious, aware, alive. You come to know things as they are. When you do this, you become wholer. You become greater because of the experience. That's what the word learning really means. The same is true of peace. Peace is real. It's part of the energies of creation. You must come to know it. When you come to know it, it will become part of you, because you have learned it. When it becomes part of you, you can teach it. Until then, you're really just doing the same thing as everybody else. You're not okay, but you decided that peace is what will make you okay. But usually not your peace, somebody else's peace. People decide all kinds of things will make them okay. Never does for anybody. Anytime you impose yourself on somebody else, you have created more disturbance, not less. Peace is very deep, way deeper than people give it credit for. So you reach the point, I'm going to move on from there, assuming we've reached there. You reach the point where you realize peace is complete unto itself. It is a thing unto itself. You must come to know it. And that is your relationship with it. Is your coming to know it. And the place you must come to know it is within yourself. There is no other peace you will come to know. If you are disturbed and you attempt to create peace, you will create disturbance. People fight for peace. Kind of funny, but they do. They say, why are you fighting to create peace? Interesting, right? People have to come to know it within themselves. So now we're going to go on a deep spiritual journey of saying, I no longer want to play the games that I was playing before, of thinking that I know what should happen, or I know what's going on, or I know what's right, or I know what's wrong. I know what's best for everybody. I know what's best for the whole world, etc. I only know that I'm not at peace. That's the start of one's deep spiritual growth. It gets rid of so much noise. I only know that I am not at peace. How do you know that you're not at peace? It's kind of very intuitive, like you're disturbed. That's what, the opposite of peace is disturbance. What does it mean to be disturbed? To not be at peace. Peace is quiet. Peace is still. Peace is harmony. Disturbance is noise. Disturbance is commotion, confusion, disharmony. What we feel inside ourselves is tension, disturbance, commotion, and disharmony. The vast majority of the time. We have to work very, very, very hard to try and not feel that. And that is why we go on vacations. And that is why we try to change jobs. And that is why we try to find our other half, our soulmate. That is why we try to earn money. That is why we try to get famous. That is why we try to have people like us. Every single thing that we try to do is because it's not okay the way it is inside. And in our own way, we are trying to make it be okay. I know we've talked about that so many times. You get to the point where that's your holy scripture. That's the foundation of your spiritual growth. What? Disturbance. It better not be peace. That's the foundation of your spiritual growth, because you don't know peace. So you have no foundation. If you're not completely at peace, then you don't know peace. If you say peace is the foundation of your spiritual life, then it's a concept. It's a view. It's an opinion. It's a thought. It's just another disturbance. Okay? You define how peace should be and they get disturbed because people won't let you be that way. It just creates more disturbance. So the foundation of a true spiritual being is disturbance, because that is what the consciousness sees when its eyes open. It sees disturbance inside. Very sensitive, a lot of commotion. You can control that commotion, you can do work and try to make it better, but what depth says is, why are you having to try? And the reason is because its natural state right now, its default state, is disturbance. You have to embrace that. You have to honor that. Eventually you'll see you have to worship that. You have to literally worship disturbance if you want to go past it. Why? If you are resisting disturbance, you will create more disturbance. If you do not like disturbance, you'll create more disturbance. If you try to lay non-disturbance on top of disturbance, you will create more disturbance. These are energies. There's no energy that's a certain way and you lay another energy on top of it that does anything but either mix with commotion or suppress and build up potential. So you start by looking at this disturbance and honoring it, accepting it. And it really is very honorable. There's so far that you can go spiritually by honoring the disturbance, accepting, recognizing, which is not hard to recognize your disturbance, right? What if I said to you, sit down and notice that you're disturbed? It's the best meditation you ever had. Sit down and notice that your mind won't shut up. Sit down and notice that you don't want to be there. Sit down for 3 hours without getting up and notice what happens. Okay? That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I want you to do that. It's wonderful. So you start by noticing the natural state of how things are right now. If you don't start from the beginning, you're not going anywhere. And nobody wants to start from the beginning, because the beginning isn't where they want to be. And so they want to define where they want to be, and then they want to be there. Well, you skip the journey. To me, it's like if I'm here in Alachua, and for some reason I want to be in New York, and people told me all about New York, has big buildings, has all those kind of things, and I'm sitting here and say, I want to be in the place where the big buildings are. And so I imagine that that's a big building, and I go put a pole up, put a skylight on it or something. I just do whatever I can to be there, because I want to be there so bad. I really do. And so I just start doing things while I'm in Alachua that make it feel like or look like, or I can at least talk like I'm in New York. How does that feel? Pretty silly. If I want to go to New York, I have to start in Alachua and roadmap my way and do the journey, go to New York. People like to think they're at peace. People like to think there's harmony. People like to think there's love. People like to think they're with God. People like to think all these nice things that may well be the end of the journey. They like to think that that's how they are. And so they try to layer those concepts. This is the true pitfall of spiritual growth. And almost everybody falls in it. Because it doesn't look like a pitfall, but it is a pitfall. And that's why you can meet people who supposedly grow spiritually 10, 20, 30 years. They just stay the same. They stay the same. The reason is this. They're not willing to start where they are. And where you are is a disturbance. And even accepting the disturbance is not good enough. You have to honor the disturbance. You have to learn from the disturbance. You have to worship the disturbance. And it's not hard to see the disturbance. If you look, you'll see the disturbance. In a sense, that is a very high state of witness consciousness. You are looking, and what you will see is disturbance. The problem is your mind says that's not okay. And so you create more disturbance and all kinds of commotion about the fact that it's not okay that you're disturbed. Then you're no longer a witness consciousness. You're an ego consciousness. But if you tell the witness, disturbance is a good thing. Disturbance is a good thing. It's to be worshipped. It's a holy state. notice that you're disturbed. That's an easy job, to notice I'm disturbed. How about you? It's like, how about 24/7? Yeah, no sweat. You're probably disturbed while you sleep. You have nightmares. People have all kinds of things, right? And so you just sit there and look, and you just start by saying, wow, that was easy. That was easy. To just sit there and say, it's disturbed. I see this disturbance. So that is the starting place of deep spiritual growth. And believe it or not, disturbance is the starting place of peace. True disturbance and true acceptance of a disturbance is the starting place of peace. Why? Because you have started to deal with the energies the way they are. Peace is a natural state. It has its nature. Disturbance is a natural state. It has its nature. At least you've started by dealing with the natural way of things, the natural state of things. This could lead to peace. I'm going to say it once more so we don't forget it. If the natural state right now is disturbance, but you paint it white and make it look like peace, and struggle creating more disturbance, and put concepts on top of itself, and try to be that, you will never get to peace. How could you? There's no natural evolution of energies going on. There's a suppression, there's a falseness that's been put there. So how does one grow spiritually if they understand these things? How does one get to peace? To truly know peace, to become peace. You know peace when you become peace. You look at these energies, and the first thing you're going to have trouble with is that you don't want those energies like that. I don't want to be disturbed. How about you? I don't want to be disturbed. If somebody says something to me that's insulting, I don't want to be disturbed. Okay? If something happens that isn't what I wanted to happen, no. I don't like it. How about you? I don't like it. If I want something and I can't get it, I don't like it. If I'm afraid of something and it's happening, you don't like it. So you start to understand the nature of disturbance. And that's a very, very great thing. What I like as we talk like this is it's so easy. I mean, sometimes people say, I don't understand. You can't not understand this, right? It's like it's just right in your face all the time. So you start by accepting disturbance. But I tell you, acceptance is not good enough. Do you know why? Because acceptance means, the very word acceptance means I already haven't accepted it, that's why I have to accept it. Things you're neutral about, that you're not rejecting, you don't say I'm accepting it. If you love the rain and it starts raining, you go dancing in the rain. You don't say, I'm accepting the fact that it's raining. You only say, I'm accepting the fact that it's raining if you didn't want it to rain. I don't want it to rain, but I'll accept it. So acceptance isn't all that deep. Worship is deeper than acceptance. So it's not enough to accept your disturbance. I want you to worship your disturbance. I want you to be happy that it's there. I want you to welcome it like you welcome the rain when it falls. I want you to understand it's your teacher. It's so beautiful once you cross over like that, because then you're not fighting with yourself. You're just the consciousness, aware of the nature of how things are now, and completely loving, honoring. You wouldn't change it for the world, period. You're not embarrassed by it, you're not ashamed of it, it's not wrong, it's not anything. It's just, I get to see these energies. In other words, be here now, all right? Just see it the way it is. It will take a while to even get past the starting gate, because you will see that the depth of your resistance to disturbance is what is keeping you from being able to grow on this path. You are so disturbed by disturbance that you won't remain the witness of disturbance. You know, the masters always use this analogy. They would talk about a mirror-clear lake. Just that you can see reflections of your own self. It's so absolutely still. And then a leaf falls in the lake, and it creates ripples. That's a disturbance in the peace. The peace is there's no energies that are creating any disharmony. There's total stillness. Mirror clear. Leaf falls, rock falls, anything happens. The minute it hits that, it's going to create the ripple. If you like the peace, you like the mirror still, then you're going to be disturbed by the disturbance. I don't want that leaf in that water. I don't want those ripples. Now there's two disturbances. There's the leaf that fell into the water creating a disturbance in the stillness, and there's you not liking the fact that there are ripples in the water. You've doubled the trouble. You didn't make it any better by not liking it. Plus, the second thing you're going to see is if you don't like it, if you have a preference and you don't like those ripples, you don't like that disturbance, you will try to do something about it. These are the two very deep natural tendencies that you'll see in your personal self. It makes preferences. It creates duality. I like it, I don't like it, and so on. And then when it doesn't like something, or really, if it likes something or doesn't like something, it does something about it. There's not a thing that you like that you don't want to do something about. If you like something, you're urged to do something about it. I'm attracted to somebody. Let me call her. You can't even sit still. If you don't like something, you want to do something about it. I'll move. I don't want to see the person anymore. They scare me. I don't want them to know where I live. And I'm going to get an unlisted phone number. And what do you think I should do? What are all the things I should do because I don't like it or because I do like it? Do you see that? So the fact that this leaf fell in the water, let's get to the punchline. The leaf fell in the water. If you just sat there and honored the fact that leaves fall in water and they create ripples, what's going to happen next? No ripples. All by his little self. Right? There'll be no ripples. But if you're there having your meetings to figure out what to do about those ripples, you might decide that the thing to do is to build a long catcher, like a pool cleaner, and catch the leaves before they fall in the water. And so now you're busy doing all this, which means you're not enjoying the mirror still state when it's there. And then you get it and you try to stick it out, but it touches the water itself and it creates all the ripples. Okay, we're going to make it stronger. And you just see you make a complete commotion out of the entire thing, and you will end up making more ripples than there ever were, even when there would have been ripples, and you're not enjoying the still lake when it was still because you're busy trying to figure out how to make it not get ripples. That's why they use that analogy. That's what we do, isn't it? It got nothing to do with the lake. It's got to do with the lake inside ourselves. Is we have energy inside of ourselves. When it gets disturbed, somebody's saying something to you insulting, and you take as insulting as a leaf, a little rock falling into your water. Something happening, anything, causes these ripples to happen inside. So, one, you're conscious of them, but you notice that you don't like them. My experience is, and your experience is, that the moment you don't like something, or that you do like something, the moment you got something going about those ripples, you're going to try and do something about it. And trying to do something about it means only one thing. You're going to leave the seat of self in order to do something about it. When you honor the disturbance, you are able to remain within the seat of self and notice the disturbance. You're honoring it, you're worshiping it, it's beautiful, it's part of creation. Oh my God, I get to be disturbed. Wow. It's time to be disturbed. For everything there's a season and a time for every purpose, and I get to see this one now. This is the time. So there you are. You don't have to go anywhere. There's nothing to do. Quiet, non-quiet, same. You're there, and because you didn't define it as not wanted, or even I'm going to learn to accept it, because learning to accept it is just something else to do. What are you doing? I'm working on accepting it. No, too late. You already fell into the water. So, you sit there, and it will take you time, but you can learn this. You sit there, and you see disturbance, and you honor the disturbance. You honor the disturbance. Because you honor it, you have not defined it as right or wrong or good or bad. Because you have not defined it as right or wrong or good or bad, you don't either like it or not like it. Therefore, you will not find the tendency to do something about it. It'll take a while. At first, I want you to see the tendency to do something about it. I want to see how much you want to just go in there and make it stop. Or grab the person who said the insulting thing so that it's the same thing. Whether you grab the disturbance, i.e. try to catch the rock before it falls in, or the example I like the most is a leaf falls in the water, you get some ripples, I'll get that leaf and you jump in to make the ripples go away. How'd that work out? That's what we're doing. The disturbance goes there, we don't like it, so we jump in. Our consciousness jumps in, and it creates 1 billion times more disturbance than there was to start with. And then, whether you're out there trying to grab a hold of the disturbance or grab a hold of the person who caused the disturbance, either way you're trying to manipulate the situation so that it's not happening. That's all I can tell you. You're trying to control the situation because you can't handle the disturbance. That's all it boils down to. You are trying to change people, places, and things because you can't handle what happens inside of you when they're the way they are. And I'm telling you, you can't change anything until you can completely, totally handle the way everything is. You can't handle yourself, so you're insisting everybody else change. That energy doesn't bring about peace. It brings about disturbance. That energy was seated on disturbance. You couldn't handle it. You're putting disturbance out there. I don't care what words you use. So all of your work is on yourself. All your work is on yourself. And this is how to do it. So I'm going to assume that you did whatever you needed to do, and what you need to do is fall and get up and fall and get up and fall and get up. That's how you do it, right? You sit there and say, I honor the disturbance, and you find yourself yelling at somebody because they disturbed you. And so you sit there and say, oh my God, that didn't work out too well. And then you get up. And then next time the disturbance happens, you're a little more inspired to leave it alone, right? Or the first time you'll yell at somebody and everything get much more restrained. Oh my God, I wasn't supposed to do that. Okay, very good. So now another disturbance will happen. You'll sit there and say, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to push it away. I don't want this disturbance inside of me. And then it'll get all suppressed and you'll get stomach aches and you can't eat and sleep at night and all kinds of fun things happen when you shove the disturbance down inside of you. More disturbance. And eventually, I don't know how long it takes. You have to tell me. Eventually you'll notice it doesn't work. It doesn't work to try to manipulate the outside so you don't get disturbed and to try to suppress the disturbance inside so it doesn't bother you. Better to honor the disturbance. Better to be completely and totally comfortable with the fact that there is disturbance inside. Now, because you're that way, you don't need to leave the seat of self to mess with the disturbance. All right? You've come a major step closer to peace. But we weren't talking about peace, we were talking about disturbance. That's how you come to peace. You come to peace by worshiping and honoring and working with disturbance. Otherwise, peace is a concept. Peace is the state that remains when disturbance is no longer getting disturbed. It's just like the ripples when you drop the leaf in the water. Stillness is the state that ends up when you leave the ripples alone. They come to their natural state of peace. When you keep trying to touch them and stop them and jump in them and, right? Then disturbance will never go away. All right? So now we're sitting there. Things happen outside, things happen inside, and we become pretty accustomed to noticing that we are one seriously disturbed person. You no longer say, oh, he's really disturbed, because you're talking about yourself. You just notice in there, this is one seriously disturbed person. But it doesn't matter. It's beautiful. It's good. How you like that? I would love that you could just look at it and say, I love it. It's exciting. It's entertaining. All right. Now, once you get to the points of major breakthrough, once you get to the point where you honor the fact that there is disturbance in there, and you are just totally comfortable with it, it's fine, doesn't make any difference how long it stays, whether it comes, whether it goes. You, the observing self, objectively observing self, are perfectly comfortable observing disturbance. You have to get there. Do you see why? Otherwise you will never go past disturbance. If you can't handle disturbance, you will try to do something about it. And what you try to do about it will create more disturbance. Now can I just stop for 1 second and look at you and see if you understand that? I'm talking about deep spiritual growth. You will never go to the next phase. There is no other way to get to the next phase until you're completely comfortable with no matter how much disturbance there is inside. So what difference does it make if a small leaf falls in or 20 rocks fall in? It's just ripples in water. They're going to go away, aren't they? Right? That's their nature. Right? So remember that. Don't ever forget that. If you leave disturbance alone because you are completely comfortable with it, it will come and go. If you do not leave disturbance alone because you are not comfortable with it, it will never come and go. And not only won't it go because you keep fighting with it, but you will create more disturbance while you fight with it. And that's why you'll never know peace. And most people never, ever, ever know peace. They try to create peace. What you call creating peace, I call fighting disturbance. In the name of creating peace, you're fighting disturbance. Right? Fighting disturbance does not create peace. It creates more disturbance. So you sit there, you look at it, and woe as could be, you be the rare being that is capable of sitting in there within yourself and seeing the nature of disturbance and seeing that there is non-doership is how one handles disturbance. It comes and goes. It's not that different from Christ's teachings, which is amazing, because it sounds so different. It sounds more Zen, but it's not. And Christ said, but I say unto you, resist not evil. In other words, even the darkest of forces, if you fight them, they stay. If you release them, they go. So this state of acceptance, complete, utter acceptance, complete worship. And I say worship because I want to play with it. Next time you say, let's say your heart gets really disturbed, right? Your first reaction should be, oh boy, I like that. I don't care what it takes. Say that. Like, oh boy, look, I get to have that. This is going to be fun. Better set up camp. It usually lasts a week. It's like, wow. Or somebody says something to you really bad, right? And then you say, oh my God, now every time I see that person for the next week, they're going to have a heart attack, all right? Oh boy, it's going to be fun. Okay? And just have fun with it until it's fun. It's as simple as that. All right, let's say you're there. I want to go on. You're there. You honor and worship disturbance's right to be, including inside of you, especially inside of you. And you are as comfortable with disturbance as you are with not disturbance. Doesn't mean it doesn't disturb you. And see, that's so silly. But I understand, Mickey, if it didn't disturb me, I'd be fine. No, it wouldn't be disturbance if it didn't disturb you. You understand? That's why it's called disturbance. I don't mind if you throw water on me as long as I don't get wet. No, it's disturbance. You have to be comfortable behind it. The self is comfortable with disturbance because it is just something it's seeing. All right, now what happens? What happens is really very, very beautiful. It's amazing what happens. You will start to notice that disturbances don't stay. They're very quick. Ramakrishna said, a saint's anger or disturbance is like riding on water. Ever try to ride on water? You can ride on water. It doesn't stay very long. Right? Stick your finger in. It's right? The moment you start to write one part of the A, the letter A, there ain't nothing there. Isn't it neat how they use these analogies? And Ramakrishna literally said that. He didn't say a saint doesn't have anger. He said a saint's anger is like riding on water. Okay? Well, so is a saint's disturbance. As soon as it moves, it's gone. Because you don't resist it, it is like water. You're getting to the deep spiritual teachings here. Your inner being is like steam. It's not even like water. It's like ether. It's just so subtle, your inner energies. When these energies come in and make vibrations inside of you, they just go right through. There's nothing. It's so subtle, it's ridiculous. But because you use your will to focus on them, to control them, you create ice where there was steam or water. You're creating this density that's inside of you because of your resistance. If I take steam and I lock it inside of a container so that it doesn't have the freedom it needs to pass, what happens? It builds up pressure. It starts to take on a force that you didn't know was there. It'll blow you up, won't it? It used to just be invisible. Same thing with water. Water just flows until I contain it. Then it shoots up the top and has all kinds of qualities I didn't know about. Go try to contain water. It no longer is horizontal. It starts going vertical, doesn't it? It just climbs up the container. All kinds of pressures and all kinds of dynamics. It's physics. What is happening, you are the one who's creating the container that this stuff cannot pass through. The container is your resistance. Now do you understand why the path of no resistance works? It is you who's resisting, and because you're resisting, these forces can't pass. And because they can't pass, they stay. And they become a major problem. So then it's not like riding on water, it's like carving in stone. But you're the one who made what was subtle become stone-like. Because you controlled it, you held it. So your whole path is about not doing that. And this is what I want to talk about tonight. Because you want to know peace. Isn't it funny how you just don't talk about things as deep as peace head on? I want you to visualize containers containing forces versus no containers and there being forces. It's a big difference. Any force can pass if there's no resistance. It just passes. Doesn't matter what it is. It just passes. No matter how subtle a force, if you contain it enough, it becomes dangerous. It becomes powerful. It takes on all the dynamics. That is the difference between peace and disturbance. It is not the force itself that determines whether there's peace or disturbance. It is the resistance to the force that determines whether there's peace or disturbance. If you, and you know who you are in there, if you don't decide you don't like something, you won't handle something, you're going to resist something, then there is no resistance. You are the only resistance. Your will, your volition, your judgment, your resistance, you in there. Hear me? You who doesn't want to handle it, that's you pushing it away. That's resistance. It is your resistance that creates non-peace. It's not like water, where water has a property and a leaf falls in it, it's going to make a ripple. There's nothing in there. Hear me? You're empty in there. The natural state inside is the Zen void. It is the emptiness. It is you who I'm talking to, you who's in there, that is pushing things away and controlling things. And those efforts of resistance and control and force are what lock the energies inside and make them more solid, and therefore make things last and make the ripple stay and make resistance be. So the way to transcend, to end resistance, to end disturbance, is not to put peace on top of it. It is to cease to resist. That's why I said in the beginning, if you honor it, if you worship it, wait till you see what happens. Because the ultimate of non-resistance is to worship something. You're not only not resisting it, you're honoring it, you're worshiping it. You're totally open to it. How's that? There's the word, right? I'm completely open to it. If you are completely open to it, then you are not closed to it. And if you're not closed to it, you're not creating resistance. If you're not creating resistance, there will not be disturbance. So this is the path of peace, inside and outside. And it's very, very deep. It's the epitome of the deep teachings. So you sit inside. The way to achieve peace inside is not to fight disturbance, and it is not to get rid of disturbance. Because what you do is you stop the thing you don't like so that you can get rid of it. I see it all the time. Something's disturbing you, you focus on it. I'm going to see what this is. Right? I'm going to focus on it. I'm sorry, you went the wrong way. The more you concentrate on it, the more you block it. The more you study it, the more energy you put into keeping it. To study it and look at it, you have to focus on it. The more focus and consciousness and attention and concentration you put on something, the more it stays, the more it's there, the more it becomes part of your being. You'll find eventually that the truth is in the opposite direction. You shouldn't be concentrating. You should be completely diluting your attention so it's universal. It is because you're focusing your universal consciousness onto the object of yourself that you're not God realized. You've limited yourself because your consciousness is focusing down on this little spot of you. And mostly what you're focusing on is your disturbance. Why? Because that's what's there. I don't have to guess at that. And so the disturbance is there, and you pay attention to your disturbance, don't you? What's disturbing you? What should you do about it? If you focus on what's disturbing you, that's one focus. If you focus on how to have it not disturb you, that's double the focus. If you focus on, now that I know how to have it not disturb me, how do I make that happen? Look how much attention you're putting on your disturbance. The more of your attention you put on your disturbance, the more you have blocked the energy. That's all I can tell you. A meditator understands this because they see what happens when they don't do that. It passes. It lets go. They become much more expansive, and therefore all this stuff passes through, and as long as they can stay in that expansive state, they're not their personal self. You don't get rid of the personal self by making it be spiritual. You don't get rid of the personal self by beating it up. You don't get rid of the personal self by talking about it. You get rid of the personal self by ceasing to be the personal self. You expand enough to where the personal self has nothing stopping it from just going away. It just passes right through. That's what happens when you go deep in meditation. You pull back enough to where all this stuff is gone. So the key to peace is to understand that you're causing non-peace. Not that there's non-peace. You're causing non-peace. You're causing non-peace by resisting disturbance. If you do not resist disturbance inside, it will pass through you. How do you not resist? Because these are just words. How do you not resist disturbance? By expanding instead of contracting. By opening instead of closing. You're going to see the tendency to do the opposite. I like that. I like that because that means you're seeing your growth. You're seeing the potential of your growth. Every single time you close, it's an honorable spiritual experience. Closing is as much a spiritual experience as opening is a spiritual experience. If a scientist is trying to study something, trying to study a cell and certain behaviors of a cell, okay, it isn't only what they do that makes the cell behave the way they wanted it to that they write in their book. They write down every single experiment, every prode, every pop, every chemical. They write down carefully what the reaction was, don't they? The whole experience of both seeing what makes it be this way and what makes it not be this way is part of the scientific exploration. It's part of the learning. It's part of everything, right? And you become so much more expansive. If the only thing you did, like I'll tell you this, there's 75 different chemicals that need to be tested to see what the behavior of the cell is going to be. You don't know anything about anything. You grab one of them, you do it, and the cell does exactly what you wanted it to do. You write that down on a pamphlet, and you call your boss, I got it, figured it out, I got it, I know it's going to happen, right? I don't want the FDA approving a single thing that you just did. You don't know a single thing about that drug or the other drugs or the reaction or anything like that. You just happen to luck out and get one of those things, and you're saying, oh, look, it behaved like that. Versus, if the last one you picked was the one that made it behave like that, and you studied 75 of them, now I'll consider that you know something. You see the difference? So it is just as much the fact that you close around your disturbance is a spiritual teacher. You will learn as much, if not more, from that experience. What it felt like, what happened, what was the result of that, all of those things. But ultimately, you don't ever forget, the solution is not outside. The solution to peace is not about trying to make people, places, and things be the way that make you be peaceful. All right? That leads to war. What I just said, that sentence right there, that the solution is not to try to get people, places, and things to behave the way you need them to so you feel peaceful. You've just taken your disturbance and laid it on the head of everybody else. You behave this way, you behave this way, you behave this way. I don't want to. Too bad. Right? You've now externalized your disturbance. And you now must control and manipulate every single thing around you to try and be peaceful. Since when is control and manipulation of every single thing around you something that creates peace? I think it creates war. That is what war is, the ultimate of control and manipulation of everything around you. So you sit there and you realize it is not about controlling the environment so that I feel more peaceful. I'm not interested in that. I don't want to know what will make me peaceful. I want to know why I'm not peaceful. That's how a yogi works. And I know why I'm not peaceful. I'm not peaceful because I have artificially created a container to hold the energies as they pass in me. And I've now got wind caught in a tunnel. Wind is beautiful, so it's caught in a tunnel. It can be very destructive. All right? It's the same force. It's because it's contained. This whole thing about containing a force, this is what peace is about. Peace is about not containing a force. If there is no resistance at all, then there is just harmony passing through nature. And that in and of itself is peace. There's no resistance. There's no, oh my God, it's unbelievable. Aside from that, watch what happens. For some reason, we have gotten into this habit of resistance. We are controlling and resisting. The act of controlling and resisting creates a very, very small space for the universe to pass through us. And in fact, it doesn't pass through us. All kinds of disturbance goes on, all right? When you see that your growth at all times is about letting go of your resisting these energies. It's not about outside causing the energies. It's not about the energies passing through you. It's about you resisting the energies, you containing them. You do not want to contain them. Anything in the world, there's that whole story of, the Eastern teachings of Zen, that the biggest hurricane in the world cannot hurt a blade of grass, but it can knock down the biggest, strongest oak tree that ever was. When there is non-resistance, there is harmony, there's peace. Blade of grass doesn't mind the hurricane, doesn't even know it was a disturbance. It kind of felt good. Answer, my friend, is blowing the wind. That's what it's like to a blade of grass. He's just having a good old time. You know what I'm saying? Right? That oak tree's trying to hold on with everything it's got, and then it gets ripped out by the roots. Don't be the oak tree. Inside your work, if you wish to achieve peace and to know peace, is to remove the boundaries, the barriers that stop the energy from passing through you. Disturbance is because energies can't pass. Peace is because energy can. And you'll get to that point. You'll see that. And now, no matter what happens outside of you, you will take the position of non-resistance. You will just sit there and not care what happens, you'll literally reach the point, I don't care what happens. Not that I want to not care. I don't care what happens. Because to care what happens costs me the only thing that I care about, which is my peace. Now, there's two sides to what happens when you see yourself as the container. That's what I want you to see. Your will, your consciousness, your focus. That's what creates containment. You don't want containment. Not only when you cease to create containment does the energy pass through you and therefore there's no disturbance, but you don't have to be here anymore. You're here now because you're attempting to control the energies. Your act of controlling is creating disturbance, which causes you to control more, and the whole fall from the garden takes place. If you understand I'm letting go, and then the energies start to pass through, the combination of less disturbance, because the energies are passing, and your soul realization that I was causing the problem. There is no problem. I don't need to be here. Permit you to go into the deeper states. The only way you can go into the deeper states is if you don't need to be here. You can't need to be here plus not be here. You have to be willing to let go at the deepest state. So this is peace. Peace is a natural state. Disturbance is a natural state. What is the difference between the natural state of peace and the natural state of disturbance? Is it that there are energies? No. There are energies in peace, tremendous energies in peace. And there are energies in disturbance. They happen to be the same energies. All there is a universe worth of energies. If it's true peace, it better be able to incorporate and encompass the entire universe. So what is the difference between peace and disturbance? Blockages. I use the word containment. That's the word I want you to use. Very Zen. Containment. Who's creating the containment? You are. This act of will, this consciousness, who's watching, but is watching in order to control, is watching because it's not comfortable, is watching with an eye of judgment. Understand that? That's how you watch, don't you? You watch to see what's going on that could bother you. You watch to see what's going on that could help you. You're watching with purpose. How do you like that? You need to learn to watch without purpose. Or if there be purpose, the only purpose is peace. That's the last purpose you can have, is the purpose of peace. And the main thing I wanted to get from this talk is from now on, when you think of peace, I want you to think of non-containment. I want you to think of no borders, no barriers, that energies pass through so freely that they don't hit anything. If they don't hit anything, there's total peace, isn't there? Even the leaf falling through ether, vacuum, creates no disturbance. It is because the water resists the leaf that there's ripples. It is because the water creates resistance to the leaf. That's what creates the ripples. If the water did not resist that leaf, the leaf could fall and create no ripples. So this is the essence of that part of the Gita that I always quote you, because it shows you how deep the Gita is. Like, this is serious stuff we're talking about. The Gita talks about this. It just uses different words. In the Gita, it talks about transcending the qualities of nature, transcending the gunas, tamas, rajas, sattva. Nature has certain qualities, its energies, darkness, passion, and light, harmony, right? Goodness. These are the yin and the yang of nature. There is a person, Krishna says to Arjuna, there is such a person who has transcended these qualities, who has gone beyond them. All right? These qualities, in our terminology, that person is able to let all of these qualities, darkness, passion, action, activity, and peace, peacefulness, is able to let all of these equally pass through with no resistance. That's the teaching of the Gita. That's what we just talked about, isn't it? Right? No containment. So Arjuna turns to Krishna, is my favorite part of the Gita, and he says, Krishna, how will I know him? He who has gone beyond, transcended the qualities of nature. Sits he, walks he, talks he like any other man? And Krishna says to him, Oh Arjuna, you will not know him that way. the one who has gone beyond. He sits, he walks, he talks like any other man. If you would know him as such. When goodness comes, he lets it come. And when it departs, he lets it depart. When darkness comes, he lets it come. And when it departs, he lets it depart. He walks like a stranger, a sojourner, in the midst of these qualities of nature. Very much like all the rivers and streams of the world pour into the ocean, but the ocean doesn't overflow its bounds, so this world of sense pours into the yogi, leaving him as they found him, serene, content, at peace. Is that not what we talked about? That the true state of peace, the highest state, is that all the energies can pass through. Not that you're filtering them out and only taking the good ones and making sure you don't get the other ones. Right? It's amazing that the scripture actually teaches this, all right? That all the energies of nature can come in and pass in, and they have no effect. They have no effect. When they come, they come. When they go, they go. Why? How could that happen? Because there's nobody resisting. The yogi sits in a state of equanimity, in a state of peace, amidst all the qualities of nature. They leave him as they found him. So the only way you're going to do that is if you're not there. There is no you there touching this stuff. It just comes and goes. And you're free to come and go. What is left is peace. That's peace. And a being who has achieved that state spreads peace. Truly spreads peace. So, basically, you have to decide, what do you want to do with your life? If you want to do something meaningful with your life, you create the rarest thing that could walk the face of this earth, which is a vessel for peace. You let God be here instead of you. How? I gave you something you can actually touch. You know why you can touch it? Because you are touching it. You can feel the place where you're resisting. You can feel the tendency to resist. You can feel the all-out resisting. Forget place or tendency. You can feel all those energies. And you can see the results. And someday, what your life will be about, every single second of it, is to welcome everything that could ever happen so that you can practice not touching it. So you just sit back there, deep inside, and get out of the way. Let it pass. And I told you, it's not a matter of controlling it and fixing it. It's not that. It's a matter of the word I want to leave you with is non-containment. Isn't that amazing? Non-containment is peace. There, I'll leave it with one sentence. Do you see it now? Non-containment is peace, both in nature and in your spiritual growth. So work with that. Work with that at a very deep level. Jai Gurudev.